Good morning, everyone. My name is Amy, and this is Harpy Stitch, my channel all about cross stitch. If you are new, welcome. Especially you new subscribers. I appreciate you being here. And welcome back if you are a returning viewer. I'm really excited. I've got 191 subscribers, so I've almost hit the 200 mark. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you enjoy my journey. Please let me know in the comments if you are stitching the same thing as me, or if you have questions about how I do my stuff. I welcome constructive criticism. If there's something that you don't really like about my channel, please give me some feedback. I don't do any editing because I'm super busy. But it is almost summertime. I have 9 days of school left. I am hoping to maintain my sanity for those last 9 days. If you've ever worked with children at the end of the school year, you know what I'm talking about. We had a few warm days, then we had some thunderstorms, and now it is supposed to be chilly for the next week. Like, we're not supposed to get out of the 60s, and it is almost officially summer. So it's been interesting weather. I am still doing my birthday sal, Damn the Man sal. I haven't posted any updates. But if you missed that video, Damn the Man sal was my hashtag for my birthday start. I chose Evening in the Shire. And I was trying to think, you know, everybody does birthday sal. I'm already doing 50 for 50 for my birthday. And I wanted a different hashtag instead of just B-Day sal or something like that. So I went with Damn the Man. I want to thank Charlie and Jason Stitches for joining me in my birthday sal. It is a continuing start along, just as long as it'll go. The theme is that with everything being all crazy, doing something that is defiant of controlling fascist behavior, whether that is a statement against the current situation of the world, or just stitching on something that brings you joy or reminds you of one of your heroes or someone who fought for good. So, you know, Mr. Rogers. I didn't work on Evening in the Shire this week because of my May Mayhem for my fandom stitching, so I'm doing 24 new starts. I've got 13 of them done. I've got 10 more to go. I honestly am kind of getting tired of starting new projects, and I had already planned to do 50, so I've just kind of condensed 24 of my 50 starts for my 50th year into May Mayhem. But honestly, there's some projects I really want to work on, but since it's also a team sport, I don't want to let my team down. And it's all projects I really want to do. It's just, I'm like, I have pretty things I want to work on. And so I'm starting to feel some pressure. But since I am probably going back to college in the fall, I was wondering how I was going to get all my new starts for the year in when I went back to school. This solved my problem. So I'm kind of pushing through. I think next time, if I did May Mayhem, like the Start of Mania kind of May, I would probably limit to like 15. And I'll talk about that when I get to that part, but when I get to plans, because I may have to replan some stuff because of a few things that are happening with some of the new starts I have. I'm also still doing scavenger hunt with Fandom Central, which is nice because I can pretty much, for the prompts that I have left, I can pretty much use anything that I want. I was going to do the sit by the stitch swimming pool prompts this weekend because my swimming pool at my apartment isn't filled up, but I did get it approved by the judges in the group that I could sit by it even though it wasn't full, because I don't have any control when they fill it up. But then it got to be where it was like 48 degrees outside. That's Fahrenheit, not Celsius. And so I was like, I don't want to go sit out in the cold. So instead of sitting outside this weekend, I'm sitting inside. I am supposed to have my stitching meetup, but right now nobody else is coming, so I'll probably skip out on that. I need to do grading anyway. So yeah, not much going on other than it's almost the end of school. I will do summer school, as I've said before. So I should get a few days off. Excuse me, dry throat. I'll get a few days off before that starts, and I want to super clean my house and do some organizing. I think I'm going to redo the way I'm storing my magazines, but I have to make room and move stuff around, and I need to cull out some junk we have that have just been sitting unused in boxes since we moved here. If you haven't dug it out, probably time to get rid of it, right? I will probably put up some of that stuff, like my cross-stitching stuff that I've inherited or decided I'm not going to stitch, maybe on eBay. Maybe put a few up for giveaways on my channel. I have to really decide. Some of them are a bit dated. Actually, a lot of them are a bit dated because a lot of it I inherited from my grandma. But I have definitely going to put some of them on eBay. Have some medical bills that I could use, you know, a little extra cash to help pay for, and hopefully they'll sell on eBay. And I think I'm going to use ChatGPT to help me write the eBay post. I've been using it to help me come up with lesson ideas at school occasionally, and it works really well. Anyway, I think I got to take a couple of weeks off mentally, and then I'm going to start prepping for next year, since I know I'll be teaching earth science again next year. I've got to apply to the local community college because I finally got to talk to my advisor for science education. And they did reduce the number of classes that I actually need to take. We're still waiting to hear back from the guy in charge of the education classes. But some of the classes I can take at the community college here in town, and they would transfer to St. Cloud, and they would be a lot cheaper. The state science teacher association has some classes that I might be able to replace my college credits with for certification purposes, and they are significantly cheaper than college courses. So I've got to explore a couple of those avenues. Excuse me, I haven't had any caffeine yet this morning. I was going to get some before I filmed, but I decided I should wait. I've got to go get gas, laundry money, stuff like that. And yes, I can still get laundry money on Sunday because my landlord installed a change machine in the laundry room. So I just go to the ATM, get the cash, take it to the thing, and take it to the machine and make change. So I've got grading to do today after I film. I've got laundry to do. I've got to do some cleaning stuff for the kitty cat. But he is taking a nice little nap in his favorite napping spot. I'm going to try to rearrange stuff by me to see if he will nap by me sometimes. He is definitely my husband's cat. My husband is his person, and we are thinking about getting another kitty. One, he doesn't like toys unless somebody's playing with them very much. I mean, he'll play, but he prefers interactive play rather than just toys by themselves. He gets bored with them quick. So he needs a friend. He's a very social kitty, and his foster home was full of other cats and dogs and kids and people. And I'm hoping that if we get another kitty, that kitty will be my kitty and follow me around like he does my husband. But that'll be something I probably take care of this summer. I still have to pay for his registration so I can get him off my pet rent, because we have to pay monthly pet rent these days. So the deposit's not enough. Now you have to pay extra money. For you younger people, there used to be a time where you just paid a pet deposit and you didn't have monthly pet rent. And for a while it was you only had monthly pet rent on dogs. Now it's all pets. I don't know if that was because of lawsuit or because cats are getting to be worse. I don't know. Excuse me, lack of caffeine. So let's dive in to my new starts this week. I started a new project almost every day this week. And yes, I admit I am feeling a bit overwhelmed with all the new starts. When I was doing 50 projects in a year, that was one a week. And I'm doing like 6 or 7 in a week. It's a bit much. But it'll be awesome because then I'll have lots to choose from. And yeah. So my first new start for you this week is BFG, designed by Fiona Baker, based on the artwork in Roald Dahl's books. I started this on the 11th. There are 13 colors, and I am doing it on a approximately 32 count cotton bag. So these are not meant for cross stitch, but they're these cotton bags I get at Michael's. And I have a whole bunch of them because they went on sale and I just bought up a bunch. But this is my start. This is the little girl. I meant to look up her name and then totally forgot in the main character in BFG. And I'm doing this 2/2. What I have done with this is on the other side is my Matilda. So I found the center on each side, and this has like a flat base. So I went from this edge to the top to find the center. So when I am done with this, I will flip it inside out, put some interfacing on the inside to protect the stitches and to give the bag a little bit more oomph. And yeah, then I will have a Roald Dahl bag, and bags are always good. So I am looking forward to that. I think it says on the guide that it'll be 15 hours or something. So this is, if you are interested, what it will look like when it is finished. So that is my first new start for you. Yeah, and super cute. It says it should take me about 15 hours. That seems weird to say. That seems like it'll stitch up pretty quick, but I've got projects that are going to take years. So, you know, my next new start is 100 Owls by Forest Embroidery, and I started this on the 12th. This one is on 32 count water lily linen, and I'm going to fold it up behind to help with the... This linen is super stiff, but it'll soften up as I work with it, so it'll be okay. But I got most of the first owl in. That is, what was it? A Flosstubes owl. So I just got, it is a little over 200 stitches, because for the Mayhem to get the points, you have to do 200 stitches in each new start, and they have to be done in one day. But this is going to be pretty. I mostly did this because my kid loves owls, so I'll probably end up gifting it to them. And I love the fact that it tells you what each kind of owl is, because there's a bunch of, like, some of them, like a snow owl or a barn owl, are easy, you know, those are easy to spot. They're very distinctive. But this is, you know, it tells you all these owls that I didn't know. But yeah, there's 15 colors in that. And I love the green. So next is an Elmer card by Fiona Baker. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I started this one on the 13th. This is a kit from World of Cross Stitching. And there's my start. It's a little over 200. He's going to be super cute. Here is what the card will look like when it's finished. Or it's not, I guess, a card, but it's a little kit to do it. And I probably won't frame it. I will probably turn it into a card, actually. I'm thinking I might have put it in the wrong orientation on the thing, but it's okay. It'll hide in there. It'll be fine. It's just the 14 count kit, 8 out of 10 colors, 2/1. A lot of those little kits aren't necessarily my style, but what I do is, since they're so little, I just do them anyway, and then I have, like, occasions where, you know, it's somebody's birthday at work, or I need a holiday card for people at Christmas or something like that, and I'll just send it out, or, you know, give it to them. Or, you know, as little thank you cards for helping me out. If I wasn't already doing so many starts, I would add new starts to it to thank the people who helped me out my first year teaching at high school this year. But I got enough on my plate. I don't know. I'm not doing anymore, and besides, there's only 9 days of school left. So the next is the Folk Art Bauble by Cheryl McKinnon. I actually call this the Scandinavian Ornament. Oops, I have a piece of thread getting out. So this is what it'll look like when it's done. It does have a little card. I'm going to put my string back in here before the kitty finds it. And this is what I got done in a day. It is very cute. It has, I started this on the 13th. It has 7 colors. And it is just on 14 count Aida that came with the little kit. But it's very pretty. Oh, that's Tiny Modernist, by the way. I think I'm terrible with names of people with companies and stuff. So unless your name is in your company, I'm probably going to forget that if your name's in one spot and the company name's in another spot. But that's the Tiny Modernist. All right, I think that's actually the first Tiny Modernist I'd have ever done. All right, next is Queer Goth by the Witchy Stitcher. This was part of the Pride Bundle a couple of years ago. I actually was looking for my black fabric that I wanted to use for it, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, all right, well, I have this navy blue. It should be okay on navy blue. So I started it on the navy blue. And this is what it looked like on the navy blue. And this is one of my new starts. So I got this far. And then I was like, I don't really like the way that looks on the navy blue. It's not popping the way I really want it to. And so I went looking through my stash again to see, okay, maybe I overlooked. I thought I had some black. I couldn't find it. So then I found some black. And what I did is, instead of doing the 14 count Aida, which is what that navy blue is, I went with some 32 count black even weave that I had in my stash. And I'm doing it 1/2. I started this on the 15th, and that's where I got to. So you can see the Gothic G here. And so yeah, that slowed me down on some of my new starts with having to redo that piece. But I think it looks much better on black than it does on the navy. So yeah, definitely pops better. And this is a gift for a coworker of mine at the craft store. And I realized today when I was getting ready for this video that this could also fit into the Damn the Man Sal, because of things that are going on. So very cool. I like that one a lot as well. All right, my last new start for you this week. I started yesterday, the 17th. This is the Blackwork Octopus. It is designed by Fiona Baker. It has 2 colors, and I'm doing it on 14 count navy Aida that I got at Welcome Stitchery. So I've already got, this is like a light gray, like 413, and then this is just B5200. So I've never done black work before, and I saw that Stitching with Charlie was doing the sea turtle one, and I was very tempted to start that one, but I already have the octopus printed out in a working copy that I got through the Libby app, because I could not get a back-ordered issue of the World of Cross Stitching that has this in it. So I already have the fabric for 3 of these, and I think I'm gonna have to go get some more because they also released a dolphin in the same style. So here I've got gray, and it is 1 or 2 strands, and you're doing it. And there's a little mistake, but nobody's gonna notice it, I don't think. So I just left it already. But Charlie mentioned that it was really slow going at first, and I started in here because that was the middle point. It was in here, and I had to frog it like 2 or 3 times to double check the spacing because it's just a bunch of little lines. Now that I've got a little bit more in here, it's a little bit easier to orientate my brain and to keep the stitches in the right place. I still have, because these are back stitches, they only count as half stitches, so I really have to do like twice as many. So I still have quite a bit to go on this before it's officially done as a new start for my stitching group. And then I have kind of laid out the rest of my starts for the month. But yeah, And sorry, the cat decided to love on me, so there's a little bit of cat hair, but I'll just wash it and it'll be fine. Or I'll take some tape and roll it on there. But that is the beginning of the octopus. I can show you the two other pieces that are going to go with this. Here's the shark. And then the sea turtle. And so that is the two pieces that go with the octopus. So I'm just going to keep these all in one bag. I started making bags yesterday, and I cut the inside piece too small. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim the bottom of the bigger piece to match what I cut, which will make the bag a little oddly shaped, but that's okay. It'll just make it an inch shorter than it was originally, and it'll work. And then I was putting together the other smaller bag that I didn't miscut and realized that the zipper pouch fabric that I got is beautiful with the fabric, but I don't like the way it looks with the turquoisey green zipper. And I wasn't going to be happy if I made it. So I put that on hold until I can get either a different zipper, and I need some thread that'll go better with the fabric too for the sewing machine. So it's okay. I was complaining. I was like, I don't have enough bags. My husband's like, you have plenty of bags. You just need to finish the projects. And he's not wrong. And I have a couple, like my Seductive Kermit is super close. And I need to finish Mothra by Hexed Stitchcraft before the end of the month because it's a test stitch. And that one does stitch up really fast. So once I get my starts in, I will probably use it for any of the prompts I can to get everything done. I only have 10 starts left to do. That sounds insane to say I have 10 starts left to do this month. But it's okay. All right. Those are all my new starts for the week. I will finish up. I've got to do grading. But after the video, I will finish up my octopus black work. And then I can only do one start a day for the challenge. So I would start my next one tomorrow. And I should, if I do a new start a day, I should finish before my new starts before school, and then have before school gets out, and then have the rest of the month to do my projects. Probably Mothra. And maybe Seductive Kermit, since a friend of mine asked for that. But tentative plans, except I really do need to get Mothra done. So, my whips. My first whip for you is Old Scully by, it's French, so I'm going to butcher it, but I'm going to move it here. La Petite Croix de Lucie. I started this, let me flip back because I thought I had written it down. I started this on May 2nd for Jason's halfway to Halloween sale. I am doing it 1/2 except for the blends. There are, how many colors? 24 colors, and I'm doing it on 40 Count Haunted by Fabrics by Stephanie. And here it is. He almost looks like the poisoned apple in the Snow White, but oh, there we go. Now we can see him. But I've got most of his facial features in. You can see his eyes, his nose, part of his mouth. And he is looking beautiful. I have to be careful when I do one thread, especially on the lower counts, because it rips easier, like it tears if I pull too hard, or if it's too tight, it starts to wear down the thread, and then you end up with a really stringy, and then it pulls apart. So I frequently forget to reduce the length of my thread when I'm just doing one stitch. So yeah, I've got to remember to do that. I've got several projects I'm doing 1/1 or 1/2. So, all right, not a ton of progress on that one. Now I'm got, what is this year? Yeah, this is year 2 of Frogwarts. I needed to do something for a fandom. a past or future fandom. I started this, and I've been saying I started it on June 30th, and I did start year 5 on June 30th, but I started this on my kid's birthday, or May 5th, right around my kid's birthday on 2024. Actually, I started up here and then worked my way down. So this is on 36 count stone washed by Seraphim, and it is 2/2. So this is another one. I've still got several hundred stitches to do for one of my prompts, but that's all right. It'll give me good progress. So I worked down in here on the tail of the basilisk. Got a little bit of the word always in. I wanted to do the diamonds because they're really quick. And then I was looking and I realized I never got my cherry cobbler to do the red part of these diamonds. I should double check. So, but no, never hurts to have extra thread. So the only part of this that I am doing in the specialty flosses, the variegated, are the diamonds, because it was just way too expensive when I priced it out to do the whole project in that, and then having to get new flosses every year. So I just did DMC with this. So yeah, my progress was filling in this bit and then doing this underneath here and then a little of the words. And I am eagerly awaiting the notification that my Frogworks box is mailed, but that won't happen until June. And then there's year 5, which is the one I'm closest to being done on. And year 4, year 3 is in the hoop, so I got that. And then year 1 is also covered up mostly by the hoop, but good progress. I will probably finish year 5 before this year's retreat. Sorry, I just put that in front of my face. But the other ones I'm kind of going to leave open because I can get bonus points for finishing things, so we shall see. And then I almost forgot to write this one down. So I used this for another prompt. I needed to do a prompt on even weave for the scavenger hunt. And so I pulled out Cliffhanger by Hade. It was my Whip Go call for April. So I finally got my second day of Whip Go for April on there. The art is by Amy Stewart. I started this on January 1st of last year. It is on 25 count Witchold, and I'm doing it 2/1. And I got like 300 stitches or something in there. So right now it doesn't look like much. This is the picture of the books that are also a cliff, and I'm still in like the center book, but I went in and got a lot of little tiny stitches. You see like these kind here. I went in and I filled this in. Because if you leave them, like, since I'm doing it 2/1, I probably shouldn't have, but I'm so used to doing it. This is really thick and kind of stiff, and so if you let too many stitches get around it, it gets really hard to put them in it. So I just kind of go back and fill them in. I am looking forward to getting into some other color on this. And I still haven't done any of my Whip Go on Wisdom for this month yet. I've been focusing on my new stitches, my new projects that it's starting, and with my work schedule, I haven't been able to get as much time in as I would like on stitching. Been a lot of grading, partly because I tend to procrastinate grading, and then I have a lot to do, and I need to not do that, and I tell myself that every school year, and guess what? It still happens. All right, so those are all my whips for you. Let's talk about plans. I did do my one of my Whip Go plans. So I have 10 more new starts for my Mayhem from Fandom Stitching Central. I'm going to actually show them to you. So this is the next one I'm going to start. Oops, where did I put it? Oh, there it is. I move stuff around too much. I have really got to get a better system. So this is something I got from somebody. I can't remember if it was from my grandma or somebody. But this is a kind of cross stitch kit from Anchor. I've never worked with Anchor materials before. It's got a cream Ada on it, and all of this is all half stitch and back stitch, or tent stitch and back stitch. It's from like 2004. This is my next plan start, and I'm really regretting for part of my starts picking the black work in this, because 10 stitches and black back stitches only count as half a stitch, so that means I have to do twice as many of these, which is why I was saying earlier that I might need to redo my starting plans, because I can only post one a day, and you're supposed to finish all the stitches in a day, so I might have to be more strategic about when I start these, which is one reason I started the Blackwork Octopus this weekend. I am also going to start the Sea Turtle and the Shark this month, and they're just going to all live in a bag together. I think what I'm going to do, because they're going to look a lot alike with the black work, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like stitch a little T, S, and an O at the top to make sure I know which one is which before I get enough of the picture in to tell. Excuse me. Another new start that I'm going to do. Excuse me again. Is What Lies Beneath by Charting Creations. This used to be a Haid, and I didn't realize I only had blue paper in the printer, so I'm not reprinting the cover sheet. So, but this area up here is mostly $7.98, and Joann's, I went to Joann's for one of the last times yesterday. My Joann's now only has 8 days left, and then they'll just be gone. But they had their DMs, their floss, and their spools of thread, you know, like your sewing machine, 5 for $1. But unfortunately, they only had a few of the colors that I actually needed. I did stock up on a few that I need for my sampler that I do the commissions on. I forgot to breathe there. Made my voice sound funny. I know my body's demanding oxygen. So, I just put in an order to 123 Stitch to get my cherry cobbler and the few colors that I could not find at Joann's yesterday, and Michael's was out of several colors I needed. And actually 123 Stitch has a pretty good price on DMC. It's actually 1 cent cheaper than Michael's per skein if you don't have the employee discount. But yes, this is one of the ones I want to start. And then I think my husband and I need to redo, I was going to make him the scene from Calvin and Hobbes where Calvin is pretending to be Godzilla and traipsing and breaking all the stuff. I call it Kaiju Calvin. But we need to rechart it. I lost a page, and the original chart is on one of my hard drives that died, and it had too many colors in it. So we're going to redo that. I don't know if it will, it was originally supposed to be one of my new starts this month, but I might have to push it back. I have enough to do because I have plenty. Excuse me, I'm very sleepy. And then some of my new starts are like this little card here. Totally not my style, but great, a little gifty card. And then I have, oops, I gotta pull it out so you can see the pictures. Sorry about the crinkle. These little guys. Look at these little guys. So that's another one of my new starts, these little woodland creatures. Ooh, that one I might be able to finish the owl before the end of school and give it to my coworker that loves owls and who is also a really big help to me. I also am going to finally get started on my Nightmare Before Christmas bell pull from Ninny Designs on Etsy. I don't know if the store is still available. I bought it a couple of years ago. So, and then I have Kitty and Puppy Come Back. I can't remember the designer name at the moment. It's a little grave site with a little kitty paw and a puppy paw sticking out. I am going to make one of each, one to represent our dog Jester and one to represent my kid's cat Fusa, who they grew up with that cat. It was rehomed with us when its owner moved to Canada and couldn't afford all the quarantine kennel things to take it with, to take the cat with her. So she became ours, and that has been the cat that my kid grew up with, and she passed away a year and a half ago. So, and then I might even make us another one. We have Jester's Ashes, but what I think we might do is, apparently Build-A-Bear has a memorial. You can get a stuffed animal that looks like your pet, and you can put some of their ashes inside of it. So I think we might do that if we can find a beagle one. I looked on their website a little while ago and they didn't have a beagle, but they, you know, those things go in and out of stock. So, and so other than starting all of those projects, I'm going to work on finishing my scavenger hunt prompts. I've been skipping the weekly challenges for fandom because of all the new starts, and I just don't have the brain capacity to try to fit them in with the prompts. And then we have, until June 21st to finish the scavenger hunts. So I'm not stressing about that either, because summer will be here very soon, and most of our prompts in my group are finished except for a few, like something designed in Africa. Some of them are South America was the one we were having a hard time finding. Or not enough different people had enough of the designs to make it. So with the scavenger hunt, you have your team, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 500 stitches, and each one's a separate challenge. You cannot use the same project in the same category. So if I was doing, for example, I worked on Old Scully for working on 40 count or higher. So if I use Old Scully for 100, I can't use Old Scully for 200. Now, if another person in my group is working on Old Scully too, they could work on it. So the same, like if I do, since I have the swimming pool, nobody else really has access. I can't use the same picture or the same pattern for each of the prompts. I'd have to change. So I could do 101, 200. Like that. Now I can use the same project for working on linen and then for a fandom. So I've used Frogworts a couple of times because it's on linen and it's a fandom. So I just can't use it twice for fandom. So that's how the scavenger hunt works. So I'm going to have to rotate through my projects. I have one more in the car to do 400 stitches in a car. They did say you could do it in a car that's sitting still, because some people get motion sick, and then, you know, if you're the one that has to drive all the time, it's not really safe to drive in cross stitch. Wonder why. Also, when I went into Joann's yesterday, I learned something that I'm very excited about. One of the employees there is going to open up their own fabric and craft store starting in June, and this is a little crumpled because I stuck it in my shopping bag, but we're going to get a new independent craft store in my town. So I'm going to put their information up here. So if you would like to shop a locally owned place, and I might not be local to you, but if you want to support a local shop, I don't know how much cross stitch stuff will be. They're opening in June sometime. They have been sharing a few pictures. They've got some of their fixtures in. They do have some like fabric. I think they're going to focus mostly on fabric. Sorry, I'm having some congestion with the weather changes. Iced. Sorry about the crunchy. Alright, so those are really my plans. I do need to finish those project bags. And I don't know. I don't know why I'm being so picky about the zipper for my ocean project bag. I do know that I want the fabric for the zipper liner. I think I might just go get a white zipper. I might have one. But I still have to get the right color thread because it doesn't look right. I know it's silly to be so picky because it's just for storage, but if I'm going to be using it for years, I want to like the way it looks, you know? So I am a little bit picky. My other one's Batman themed, and it's one of a bigger project bag, and I kind of wish I had a bigger ocean bag to put my What Lies Beneath in, but I didn't have any fabric, and I'm trying to use up, I saw some really cute fabric at Joann's that was like 60% off. But I was like, I don't need it. And I just bought some fabric with dragons on it that I don't really need. So, I need to use one of the reasons I started making the project bags other than to have them is to use up some of this fabric that I've been saving because I didn't know how it might come in handy. So, it's time to use some of that fabric. Alright, so who I've been watching. I binged watched Dark X Stitch Nadia. Mostly full coverage. Had an Etsy shop, doesn't anymore, but has a Facebook group where you can get all of the patterns that were on her Etsy for free. I can't remember the name of her Facebook group. I also watched Catherine and Stitches. I did watch some Stitching with Charlie. I watched a few cross stitch with Bex. Caught up with Akio Whip. I only had one episode. I tend to watch them every time they put one out if I have time. Stuart and Stitches. I caught up with Stitchy Wren. I watched I'd Rather Be Stitching. Stitchy Witch 42. I watched the first episode of Cross Stitch in Cambria. Caught up with Jen at Wolf Down the Rabbit Hole. With Allie at Weescott in Yorkshire. And Jason does Cross Stitch. So, I recommend all of those people. They have a wide variety of projects between them. They have different personalities, but you clearly see their love of stitching. As for what I've been watching outside of Flosstube, we watched The Pit, which is a medical drama set in the ER at St. John's Hospital, which is actually nicknamed The Pit in real life. It stars Noah Wiley. You might know him from ER. It originally was supposed to be a spin-off of ER with his same character, but Michael Crichton's wife wouldn't give him permission, so they changed the premise of the show, and then she's trying to sue them. And it's like, you could have just let him do it, and then got some money, and then now that, I don't know why she didn't just agree. But anyway, it's a different character from his character on ER. Now, one of the interesting, we've been looking for a good medical drama that's less soap opera-y than a lot of them. So I'm not a fan of melodrama. And this one was amazing. Like, that's all I wanted to watch. I almost didn't get my Doctor Who's in this week because of it. But the interesting thing about this, how this is different than different medical shows, is this season was literally one ER shift. So each episode is like an hour of their shift. So 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and it goes through a single day in the life of these people in the ER. And most of the drama is actually the medical cases and not their personal drama. I mean, there is some personal, you get to know them as people, but it is mostly focused on that. Some of the episodes are heart-wrenching, because people are in distress, but it was so good. It didn't even suffer. Like, a lot of shows, the first couple of episodes of the first season are a little off. They find a little time to get their groove. There's some awkwardness where people haven't really found their characters. This had none of that. It was just awesome from the first episode. So I really do recommend that if you're looking for a new show. We watched last night The Ugly Stepsister, which is our Norwegian horror version of Cinderella. It is really well acted. It is beautifully shot. A lot of it is horror of just what women had to go through. Like, there's a few bloody spots, but it's like the pressures of looks. It has some of the same themes as The Substance, about, you know, where women had to look a certain way and the pressures to do that. And since it's a period piece, it's set like in the 1800s, and, you know, basically, especially if you were in a higher station, a higher class, which the characters in Cinderella are, if you weren't pretty enough, you didn't get a good husband, and you had no way to support yourself without a man. And yeah, so it kind of looks at that and the pressures and what those kind of pressures can do to people. So it was really good. We also watched this one called Cryptic, which is another horror movie. It is is it New Zealand? No, Australia. And I'm trying to think of how to describe it. Let's just say the title is wonderfully accurate. So the idea is that there's a lady who is looking for a cryptid, and she's hunting a cryptid, and she goes out into the woods and she has an experience. And then things just get weird. I can't really explain the movie. It's excellent. It's beautifully shot. It's wonderfully acted. It's engaging, but you don't understand what's going on. Like, it's confusing, but in the best possible way. The title Cryptic nails the movie 100%, because you're trying to figure out what's going on, and it's just a mystery. And it's confusing, but in a really good way. And then we also watched a sillier movie from, was it 2011, called The Detention. And I had never seen it. We'd never heard of it before. It is a horror satire parody situation, but they're all nostalgic for the 90s. And it is so loaded with references to horror movies, characters from the 90s, actors from the 90s. They take every trope from every teen movie and cram it into one, and it is a silly, ridiculous movie, but so fun and so engaging. And like, there's some weirdness, but it was really fun. So that's what I've been watching for TV and movies. I will this week be working on my next Doctor Who pop-up, which is a season 4 or series 4. So Tom Baker, get to watch some Tom Baker Doctor Who. And then started listening to this. I'm still listening to the 6 about the first 6 female astronauts at NASA, which is really good. And then I will switch over to a book that I won called Bless Your Heart, which is a Southern horror, gothic, vampire kind of thing. Set in modern day, though. But it's titled Bless Your Heart. And if you're from the South, you know that that's a really nice way of... It's a passive-aggressive way of disapproving of you. Bless their heart. So that's all I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share with me what you're working on. Feel free to ask questions. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube-y things. I hope you have a great week and you get some great progress in on your stitching. May today be kinder to you than yesterday, and tomorrow be kinder to you than today. Have a great week. Bye.